and welcome to today's episode of Newspaper Review on Emirate Radio. Emirate Radio is located behind the Federal Ministry of Environment off Old Jeba Road, Ilorin, Kwara State, Nigeria. And come with me on this beautiful morning. I am Latifa Ibrahim Arono. And the newspaper we have this morning are the online radio newspaper, the Daily Post newspaper, the Leadership newspaper, and of course Punch newspaper and the Daily Trust newspaper. So stay with us to go through the news dailies in Nigeria. Newspaper this morning, UNICEF Unimate collaborates to curb cholera outbreak in Borno. The United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF has partnered with the University of Maiduguri to combat the spread of cholera in Borno State. Speaking during a dialogue session focused on cholera awareness and prevention in Maiduguri on Tuesday, Joseph Senise, Chief of UNICEF's Maiduguri Field Office, emphasized the importance of prevention, stating that cholera is a preventable disease. He noted that university students are agents of change and can help eliminate cholera in Borno State and the Northeast region. He advised students and residents to ensure that children receive the oral cholera vaccine in their communities. UNICEF has pledged its continued commitment to working with communities to promote good hygiene practices as Borno State recovers from over a decade of Boko Haram conflict. The recent flood in Maiduguri have displaced thousands of people and damaged homes, exacerbating the humanitarian crisis. FG declares Monday, Tuesday public holiday for Eid al-Fitr. The federal government has declared Monday, March 31st and Tuesday, April 1st, 2025 as public holidays to mark the Eid al-Fitr celebration. The announcement was made by the Minister of Interior, Dr. Olubunmi Tunde Ojo, on behalf of the federal government. Royal News reports in a statement on Wednesday by the Ministries of Permanent Secretary, Magdalene Ajani, the minister congratulated Muslims on the successful completion of the Ramadan fast, highlighting the significance of the holy month in fostering self-discipline, compassion, and spiritual renewal. Tunde Ojo called on all Muslims to continue embodying the virtue of love, generosity, and peace, emphasizing the need for national unity and religious harmony. He also urged Nigerians to use the festive retired Vice Admiral Ibos A.K. Abbas by President Bola Tinubu. The affected officials include the Chief of Staff, all honorable commissioners, chairmen and members of boards, councils of agencies, commissioners, institutions, and parastatals, all special advisors, special assistants, and senior special assistants. The statement further directed the suspended officials to hand over to the permanent secretaries in their respective ministry, departments, and agencies. In case where no permanent secretary is in place, the most senior director or head of administration is to take over. The directive takes place effective on Wednesday, March 2025. Still on the online royal newspaper, core members begin collection of 77,000 monthly allowance. The federal government has officially commenced payments of 77,000 naira monthly allowance to National Youth Service core members. The announcement of a pay increase by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which earlier brought relief and excitement among core members nationwide, was met with disappointment following delays in implementation of the new allowance. For almost 6 months after the announcement in September 2024, serving core members were paid the previous 3,000 naira allowance introduced in the 2020 under former President Muhammad Buhari. Confirming the development to Tribune Online, a serving core member in Kwara State, simply identified as Adepoju, said the scheme has commenced 77,000 naira, describing the increase as long overdue. He opined that the payment is possibly being disbursed in batches, noting that noting that while some core members have already received theirs, others were still anxiously waiting. Also, Nigerians on social media have begun reacting to the development, which came following an assurance from the Minister of Youth that the federal government will pay backlog of the 77,000 allowance. A Twitter user at Tolu Daniel 10 expressed his thoughts, writing, NYC is finally paying 77k to core members. If you have this girl's DM, go say a big thank you. I bet the government wouldn't have listened to you if not for her. Meanwhile, the increments align with the new minimum wage adjustment advocated by law unions and the government. And on the Daily Post newspaper this morning, Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu's apology, major turning point, says Ndam Ibegu. In a rare action, Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, tendered an apology to the Nigerian judiciary during his last appearance in court. The move has been described by many stakeholders as a pathway to the much-sought diplomatic solutions to his detention. Kanu tendered the apology through his lawyer before Justice James Omotosho of the Abuja Federal High Court, especially over his recent attack on Justice Binta Nyako of the Abuja Federal High Court. During the court outing, Kanu had apologized to the legal team of the Nigerian government led by Adegboyega Awomolu for attacking Justice Binta Nyako. He tendered the apology through his new lead counsel, Kanu Agabi. Kanu has been on trial for about 10 years over his agitation for the actualization of the sovereign state of Biafra. In September 2024, Kanu, while appearing for the Justice Nyako for terrorism-related charges, had caused an uproar in open court when he challenged the judge to rescue herself from his trial. Speaking from the dock of the courtroom, Kanu interrupted proceedings and announced that he no longer had confidence in her and demanded that she rescued herself immediately. Fubara vs. Wike, grandfather of hypocrisy in Nigeria presidency knocks Obasanjo. The presidency has slammed former President Olusegun Obasanjo for criticizing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's decision to declare a state of emergency in Rivers State. Tinubu's special assistant on social media, Olusegun Dada, described Obasanjo as the grandfather of hypocrisy in Nigeria. Speaking in Abuja on Monday, the former president said democracy is not about power grabbing illegally and telling victims to go to court. Obasanjo made the remark against the backdrop of Tinubu suspending Governor Simlai Fubara of Rivers State, his deputy and members of the state assembly. However, Dada accused Obasanjo of turning himself into a kingmaker and a demigod in his second term in office between 2003 to 2004. A statement by Dada reads, coming to Obasanjo's remarks at the Ihedioha Colloquium, it is obvious that OBJ is trying everything possible to whitewash his bad democratic records by trying to exonerate himself from blame for how Nigerians' democracy has fared. Still on Daily Post newspaper this morning, El-Rufai's move to XDP wrong political calculation, says APC woman leader. Hajia Mariam Suleiman, the Kaduna State woman leader of the All Progressive Congress, has distanced herself from former governor Nasir El-Rufai following his defection to the Social Democratic Party, calling it a wrong political calculation. In a dramatic turnaround, Mariam, who was once a staunch El-Rufai ally, declared her unwavering loyalty to APC, dismissing SDP as a political non-starter. She admitted to previously criticizing Governor Obasani out of ignorance, expressing regrets and offering a public apology. Governor Obasani is a compassionate leader who could genuinely uplift people, unlike El-Rufai, whose policies on market demolitions and teacher dismissals hurt many, she said. Rebranding herself from Mariam May Rousseau, aligned with El-Rufai to Mariam May Guinea, supporting Obasani's development agenda. She pledged her commitment to APC and vowed to make amends for her past remarks. This shift marks a significant realignment in Kaduna's political landscape as APC seeks to consolidate its influence. Still on the Daily Post newspaper this morning, Kwara Task Force clear illegal billboard signage across Ilorin. The Kwara State Task Force Committee on Illegal Billboard and Signage swung into action on Wednesday to fully enforce the removal of unauthorized billboards and signage across major locations in Ilorin, the state capital. Newsman reports that the committee took action following the expiration of the government's revocation of the 2024 billboards and signage permits and the 7-day ultimatum for owners to remove them voluntarily. According to the state government, the enforcement is in line with the current administration's urban renewal program, which aims to maintain a clean, orderly, and visually appealing environment across the state. The exercise, which involved the removal of an illegal structure, was carried out in key areas including Unity Road, Post Office, Maraba, Fatih Roundabout, Tanke Junction, Flower Garden, Ojaoba, Surulere, Airport Road, and Ofo Garage. Speaking on the operation, the chairman of the task force and the state commissioner for communication, Bolanle Olukoju, expressed appreciation to Kwara for their high level of compliance, noting that most billboard owners had voluntarily removed the structure before the enforcement team's arrival. And on the Punch newspaper this morning, Emir Bayero cancels Eid al-Fitr Doba. The 15th Emir of Kano, Alhaji Aminu Bayero, has announced the cancellation of the Eid al-Fitr Doba celebration due to security concerns in the state. Emir Bayero made those announcements while briefing newsmen at his Nasarawa Mini Palace in Kano on Wednesday night. He said that the peaceful coexistence of the people takes precedence over the Doba celebration. Emir Bayero had initially planned to hold the Doba celebration, which would have coincided with its 5th year anniversary on the throne. He noted that respected Islamic clerics, elders, stakeholders, and his council members advised him to cancel the celebration to maintain peace. Emir Bayero urged the people of Kano to use the Salah celebration period to visit families and friends and to observe the festivity in a peaceful and harmonious atmosphere. He prayed for Allah's blessing and mercy during the month of Ramadan, hoping that people of Kano would receive forgiveness and mercy. Still on the Punch newspaper this morning, Natasha recalled INEC notifies Senate as constituents amend petition. The Independent National Electoral Commission on Wednesday wrote to the senator representing Kogi Central Senatorial Districts, Natasha Apoti Uduaha, and the presiding officer of the Senate, Koswit Akpabio, confirming that the contact details of the petitioner's representative in the recall process have now been corrected. This followed an amendment made by the constituents of Kogi Central Senatorial District to address an earlier error in the recall petition. In a statement issued, the National Commissioner and Chairman of the Information and Voter Education Committee, Sam Olumekun, revealed that the updated contact information, including phone numbers, email addresses, and other details, was submitted to INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu on Wednesday. This update came after INEC had raised concerns in an earlier statement on Tuesday, which pointed out that the petitioners had initially failed to provide the necessary contact details, such as addresses and phone numbers as required under the Commissioner's 2024 regulations and guidelines for recall. Still on the Punch newspaper this morning, 91 Group 6 INEC registration as coalition talks gather steam. As momentum builds ahead of the 2027 election, the Independent National Electoral Commission has confirmed it have received 91 applications for the registration of new political parties. The People's Democratic Party stated that the number of applications received by INEC reflected a lack of unity among opposition leaders, while the New Nigerian People Party called it a testament to the incompetence of the ruling All Progressive Congress. The Labour Party, however, welcomed the development but called on INEC to carefully review all applications before proceeding with registration. But the All Progressive Congress claimed that former Vice President Atiku Abubakar was behind the move, asserting that it would come to nothing as the party was confident of winning the 2027 election. The announcement was made amid accusation from opposition groups who alleged that INEC was intentionally obstructing the registration of new political parties in preparation for the 2027 general elections. And on the leadership newspaper this morning, stop lying to electorates. Emir of Ilorin tells politicians. The Emir of Ilorin, Alhaji Ibrahim Sulu Gambari, yesterday charged Nigerian politicians to always be truthful to the electorate. He equally charged the politicians, especially public office seekers, to try to know the people they intend to govern and understand their plight. Sulu Gambari gave the advice while receiving a delegation of the Social Democratic Party (SDP) led by its 2023 presidential candidate Prince Adewale Adebayo in his palace in Ilorin, Kwara State. The Emir condemned the attitude of some public office seekers who will sit down at a corner of the country and still expect the electorate that's scattered across the country to cast their votes for them during election. It is important for politicians to know the people they want to govern. They should not wait to know people only when elections are around the corner. Politicians should stop lying to the people. You can be honest and still win people's hearts, the Emir said. And lastly, on today's newspaper review on leadership newspaper, Kwara holds second drugs summit. Kwara State government said it will continue to invest in initiatives and policies that empower young people and make drug abuse and crimes unattractive to them. The Special Assistant to the State Governor on Drug Abuse Prevention and Control, Honorable Aileru Olaleka Makail, stated this at the second edition of the Kwara State Key Holders Summit on Drug Abuse Prevention and Control in Ilorin, the state's capital. Mukail said some of the Governor Abdurrahman Abdurazak's legacy projects and social protection programs such as the Ilorin Innovation Hub, the Sugar Film Factory and the Garment Factory and the Quapreneur were designed to create employment, foster entrepreneurship and empower young people with the necessary skills to build successful careers. This gathering reflects our collective commitment to the tackling and growing menace of drug abuse, particularly the rising crisis of synthetic drugs, which pose a significant threat to the public health, security, and future of our youth. The administration of His Excellency the Governor is investing in youth empowerment program and projects to create employment, foster entrepreneurship, and empower our young people with the necessary skills to build successful careers. Such initiatives not only secure the economic future of our youth, but also steer them away from the dangers of drug abuse, Aileru said. He added that the administration has introduced a mandatory drug testing policy for students at the tertiary level as part of the measure to easily identify students who abuse drugs and rehabilitate them, noting this will ensure a safer and more productive academic environment. And that brings us to the end of today's newspaper review. You want to read any of those news and more, you can pick any of the dailies and go through them. Thank you for listening. I am Latifa Ibrahim Arwana. Continue to stay with us on all of our programs on social media at Facebook, the TikTok. You can as well listen to us live on YouTube or download our app on the Google Play Store. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.